Good morning and good afternoon, depending on what time of day you're listening to this presentation. Hello, my name is Shelly Pranić. I'm sending warm greetings from sunny Split, Croatia to you attendees and organizers at the 17th EASE Conference. It is a pleasure to present our poster on assessing potential barriers to the inclusion of underrepresented racial groups in clinical trials. This topic is very important because there has been recent stimulus to increase the representation of historically underserved racial minorities in clinical trials. Recently, the FDA has issued guidelines to industry funders and trialists to increase participation by reducing arbitrary stipulations in the inclusion criteria. The inclusion criteria of a document usually states what a participant needs to fulfill in order to participate in a study, and one of those hindrances could be that they only speak English or only speak a certain language. So, a stimulus provided by this guidance document uh, does allude to the fact that language could be a possible hindrance. So we set out to do a study to assess the frequency of language requirements in clinical trials conducted in the U.S. With at least one U.S. site on diseases that historically burden underserved communities. So we looked at top tier journals and we accessed them through searching through various electronic bibliographic databases between 2017 and 2022. They These trials had to have eligibility criteria and results on clinicaltrials.gov. And we chose the date range because in 2017, clinicaltrials.gov mandated that trialists post self-reported race data or data that they collect about participants' races in the results section of clinicaltrials.gov. We also looked at the readability of the eligibility criteria in protocols and of entire informed consent documents with standardized readability tests that were found on an online tool. And we also assessed the concordance of race reporting and race reporting as frequencies in clinicaltrials.gov and corresponding publications. So what we found from over 6,000 articles that we excluded almost half of those, over half, sorry, and we eventually analyzed 39 articles for all of these pieces of data. Most of them were from the Lancet, and most trials did not explicitly state which language is required of participants. And regardless of funder and disease, the readability levels, or how easy it is to read a document, was over the recommended American Medical Association sixth grade level. And there were 17 RCTs, or clinical trials, that had at least one difference in the reporting of race in the article between the article and clinicaltrials.gov. So these findings point to the fact that the readability of eligibility criteria that a patient would encounter when considering enrolling in a trial was too high or hard to read. And ethics committees and funders should really require funders to make a clear, explicit statement of which languages are required of participants. And the eligibility criteria should be written using freely available readability programs, or ask for additional funding from funders to provide more readable material at or below the sixth grade. And this can be achieved to help with health equity. Thank you.